Heyo, I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. We're back with another G.I. Joe toy review for y'all today. Specifically today, we are looking at the G.I. Joe Renegades release of Law and Order. This figure, back up a little bit. The original release of Law and Order tied in with the original movie, G.I. Joe the movie, and he was a pretty popular character, and the actual figure itself was really awesome. Had the nice dog handler, kind of a replacement for Mutt from the original line. It was a really good figure. So when they redid the G.I. Joe cartoon itself into the Renegades line, they actually included Law in one episode. And this is his representation for the toy line. All in all, it looks pretty good in the package. Order, not so much. He's kind of strapped with a whole bunch of stuff on there, and just doesn't really look like the Order that I have in my mind. So, I don't know. But the figure itself, although it's not the classic colors, still a pretty nice looking figure. So, stick with us and we'll tear into this thing and unbox it for y'all. Law and Order. This character originally originated from the 1987 movie and was a pretty awesome figure in of itself back in the day. He had a recurring spot on the Renegades cartoon show, and this is actually the figure from that particular appearance from the Renegades line. The card art does have the Renegade style character on it, but as you can see, we got lucky in that the actual figure itself is the realistic looking figure, not the cartoon version. So, glad of that. Besides the character art not being in a style I particularly like, the card art itself looks really nice. The blue standard G.I. Joe 30th anniversary packaging is really nice. It just works really well. The nice Renegades logo on top. Flipping it around, we have the figure file card, character art, and some more of the figures from this set here. Again, this is kind of that Renegades line, and luckily we did have a couple of characters that appeared in here. Lifeline, Sci-Fi, Airtight, Techno Viper, and the Zombie Viper, which were more of the realistic style figures than the rest of them, so that was cool. But enough about the packaging. Let's get in here and open this thing up. We've got the battle stand here that comes in the traditional secondary plastic wrapper thing, which we don't need, so it comes into the recycling bin. We got the little insert thing that's also just recycling. And then the rest of the card now becomes more recycling. And we have the figure itself. So let's go ahead and pull this thing out of the package. We've got Order here, which is the doggy. The German Shepherd. We'll look at it a little bit closer here in a moment. Figure itself. A lot of cool looking stuff going on this figure. So I'm anxious to get in here and take a look at it up close, but there's the figure anyways. We've got a secondary Riot helmet. We've got the kind of submachine gun. We've got the handcuffs. And we've got the billy club. If I can get it out. we go, the Billy Club. So at first glance, not a lot of accessories, but that's where it may fool you for this particular figure, because there's a lot more on his person. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in here and take a look at the actual close-up. To start off with, we have the traditional battle stand, G.I. Joe logo on the top, and the Law and Order code name on the bottom. And we'll start out with Order instead of Law, simply because I can. So it's got a lot of detail work on this thing. He's got this crazy flak jacket. So it's a little bit of a departure from the traditional German Shepherd that we have seen in the past. But it looks pretty cool. It's not as bad as I was afraid it was going to. They did put a lot of nice detail work on it. So his fur does have these little indentations, so it looks like fur, which is nice. Looking at the bottom, if we can get the right light here, they actually sculpted in his little paw prints, which is a nice little touch. The face isn't that nice, but it's not too bad. It needs to be a little darker maybe, but the cool thing about it is that it does have an articulating head. And unfortunately, it only turns so much, but it does rotate 360 degrees if you want it to do that for some reason. And you also have some up and down motion, so it's an interesting concept to have there, and I was not expecting that much articulation on the actual dog itself, so it's pretty cool. The leash, unfortunately, is attached to the head sculpt, and it's made of this really weird, somewhat bendy plastic, but as you can see, it's kind of stuck a little bit, rolling up into that weird shape it had to get into for the packaging. So you probably just have to play with that a little bit to get it to loosen up and get it into whatever shape that you want it to be in. But yeah, all in all, it's not bad. You can get some decent expressions out of the dog. So yeah, kind of cool. I'm actually surprised about that. Set him to the side here for now. Let's take a look at the accessories to begin with. Starting with the Billy Club. It's a pretty straightforward Billy Club. Small amount of detail work on the handles, but nothing too spectacular. But it's a Billy Club, so it works. The assault rifle here, little submachine gun, has some nice small details in it. You can get the light just right. So yeah, it's pretty nice. The handcuffs also have a little bit of detail work on them, so that's really cool. And then we've got the secondary Riot helmet, which doesn't have a whole lot going on with it, but it's okay, it doesn't need a whole lot. Then looking at the figure, he does have his assault shotgun in his hand already. And it does have some really nice detail work on it. Shotgun shells on the side, pump action slider on the front. So, really cool looking. Moving on to the figure itself. Let's start by, I guess, grabbing off some of these accessories as we go. Start off with, he does have his helmet here. His MP helmet. It's got a nice two-tone color to it, so it's gray in the center and got the MP stamp on it. He kind of looks like Elvis without the helmet on, but that's okay. He does have a radio here on the front. It is non-removable though. At least not easily removable, I should say. On his side, he has a big pistol. It comes in the holster, so holsters are always a plus here. So it looks like a 357. It's got some nice detail work on it as well. That's pretty cool. Moving on down, he's got another pistol on his leg. And he also has the little extra silencer bit on it. And again, in the holster, which is great. The silencer just fits on the end of the barrel, like so. And it's pretty awesome. I know when I first saw this, I had no idea that's what that was, but that is a silencer. And as you can see, it just fits on there just like that. If you don't want to use it as a silencer, you can actually use it as a flashlight if you want. It works just as well. But it is a silencer, so thanks to somebody on the previous videos for pointing that out to me. That's pretty awesome. And that's pretty much all the accessories he has with him. So we'll look at the actual figure itself now. Articulation wise, again, standard head rotates 360 degrees, up and down movement. His head seems a little bit loose on mine, but not too bad. Standard ball and rocker on the shoulder joints, ball and rocker on the elbow joints, and he has a ball and rocker on the wrist joint as well, so you've got the extra articulation there, which is nice. Rib cage joint is there. His fully loaded flak jacket will hinder a lot of that movement, but it is present. Standard T-hook at the waist and hips, double knee joints, and rocker and swivel at the ankles. So all of the articulation you're looking for is in this figure. Very nicely done. A lot of really great detail work on this figure as well. The head sculpt is pretty amazing. He does look a little older than he probably should. It's got some lines in the forehead, and but other than that, it looks like a really nice head sculpt. The flak jacket itself has a lot of detail work on it. His crazy badge here, lots of pouches, the radio. If you look on the side of it, more straps that you can see down in here. Lots of cool stuff here. Same thing for his legs. Lots of pouches, lots of creases in the fabric. Pouches everywhere. Holster, holster. This is a pretty awesome figure. Really cool looking. So looking back at the accessories, again, the helmet fits on here pretty easily, and it looks pretty nice on there actually. If you're looking for the Riot Gear helmet, it just slips on top of the other helmet like so. And there's probably a glare on this right here, so I apologize for that. But it does fit right over top of that, and it looks really nice. The handcuffs are the same handcuffs we've seen before, so they fit on their wrist pretty easily. And luckily on this flak jacket as well, on the back side, if you look down here in the bottom left hand corner, if you're looking at his back, there's a small little hole there. You can take the handcuffs and just feed them right through that little hole. And you can use that to kind of just carry them around with them on. Let's start with the pistol first with the silencer. Again, the silencer, if you wanted it to, is small enough to make it into a little small flashlight. And it actually fits in his hand rather easily, so that's a plus. Then when you're done with that, it slips into this holster on his leg like so. Fits in there nice and secure. It's not going to come out without somebody tapping on it. The pistol fits in his hand really easily and securely, so he's not going to lose it. It's a tiny pistol though, so without the silencer it looks a little unintimidating. But it also has the holster there, so you just slide it back into the holster when you're done, and it locks in place and secure. So very nice. I love holsters. 357 is up next. It's a little harder to get it into his hand, but it stays secure, and it looks pretty nice actually. Any of your Resident Evil fans there, you can have some pretty cool looking stuff going on there with it. Then when you're done with the revolver, it goes into the holster on his side, slides in there really easily, and is also secure, so very nice. Then you've got his assault shotgun. Again, no problems grabbing it and gripping it. You also have his secondary assault rifle. No problems gripping it as well. And then you've got his billy club. And we're out of hands, but luckily you can kind of stick this thing in his back like so. It's not really made to, but you can. It's supposed to be a little handle, so if he gets shot in the line of duty or whatever, his comrades can grab him there and pull him out of the line of fire pretty easily. But it does double pretty good as a nice placeholder for that billy club. And he can just kind of reach behind his back and grab it and knock somebody out. His helmet flipped off a minute ago, so yeah, overall, very cool looking. And then you got the dog as well. Luckily, so he's out of hands, as you can tell. But if you were to take his shotgun off, you can grip the leash somehow here. And then he can kind of run around with the doggy. If you need to, you can also barely pop his hand off that joint there and stick the leash on it like that, and then put the hand back on there. Then he could have all his weapons and the dog leash at the same time. Though realistically, I don't know if he would be doing that too often, because if the dog for some reason decided to jump, it would throw his aim off a little bit, but nitpicking there. So yeah, all in all, this is a really awesome figure. The color scheme works really well. It's not the classic colors, but regardless, it's a really awesome figure. Very much highly recommended. I do know that they did release the classic version of this through the Collectors Club subscription service. I've not got a copy of that one yet, so when I do, I will review it here for you. But this one came out first, and it is really awesome. It just took me a while to actually get to review it, but it is very cool looking and is very much worth trying to track down. That's it for Law and Order. Overall, really awesome set. They're a little bit expensive. You may be better off getting the new figure subscription service version of them with the classic colors, but still, it's an awesome figure set. The kind of subdued gray color tones here work really well for this figure. So yeah, highly recommended. That's all the time we've got for today, so thanks for watching. Till next time, Yo Joe.